How did meeting the love of your life, who is also a music producer, affect and infect the beauty of your music?
Donyo kuma danu balu chinya danu iruia nindu pei wanga donyo kuma danu balu chinya danu iruia nindu pei wanga donyo kuma danu balu chinya danu iruia nindu pei wanga. I think that's one of my favorite songs, and I don't know, well, I think not that I don't actually know why.
Tell us why.
It's a song that comes from a very deep place. I was in a very emotional place when I sang it, when I composed it, and the melody was just, I think it came from a place I don't know. And when it finally got, when I perceived it and recorded it, it flourished. It had so many facets of it that came out, and it ended up being one of the songs that actually propelled me to the limelight at a very early age. And to date, when I listen to it, I love it more and more. I keep discovering something new about it. I think I'm the only one who is very sure about what I was going through that day. So that is the gold I have in there, that I keep reliving that moment. It was hurtful, but I'm happy that I managed to pen an all-time favorite song in that time.
What were you going through?
I was about to go through an emotional heartbreak, I think. About to, you know, that time when you discover that your heart is actually going to get broken, then it actually gets broken. So I think I was between fear of how it was going to feel like and how I was going to walk that path, and all the emotions, the betrayal, and trying to also hold my ground, because that is my character anyway, trying to not break too much in front of people. So I was in that space, and yet I was also fighting to be real with myself. And truly the song is really, really raw. It just says everything I was going through. The only magic is that it's in Allure. So for those who do not understand,
I'm just going to ask you, what is it that you concentrated in this song?
I concentrated a lot on issues of judgment, and I also concentrated a lot. I borrowed strength from my mom in times of hardship, because she's the strongest woman I know. She's gone through so much. I mean, she's a parent of the Amin era. They went through wars, exile, and everything. My dad was a politician in and out of home, so she's a very resilient woman. And there are certain stories that we grew up hearing her tell us that I cannot imagine that anyone could go through times like that, but she did. So whenever I'm in times of trouble, when I feel scared, when I feel uncertain, I actually borrow her strength. I don't know if I borrow it anymore. I think it's really part of me right now, because I grew up watching her. And this particular song was a song, part of it is a folk song, which she used to sing. Akelo merulongio, kwenu chekio. She's called Akelo. So I wrote the body of the song from that chorus. And it was a favorite song of hers as well. So somehow when I sing it, I remember her. I know she's there, and she's still there.
What was it like for you healing from that impending and then the actual heartbreak?
I think it was the worst time of my life. Like, I don't know.
Do you love that deeply? Do you trust that deeply?
Yeah, I think I am such an introvert. I would love to think, though people say I'm also an extreme extrovert, but I think introverts, people like myself, have the ability of giving so much, you know, and also trusting so much, you know, and I think sometimes also we expect too much. So at that time I was young. Of course, I mean, I'm better now. It comes with age and also experiences and meeting different people. But at that time, I was really young. It was a very true season in my life, something that I hadn't experienced before. I did not imagine at that age that there was life after that. There was something else after that. But looking at the time now, and that I just do not even think about what I went through. And sometimes I sit and say, I think I was really silly to even take myself through that. But I think everything happens for a reason anyway. I don't regret having gone through it. I wouldn't be the woman I am today.
How has love and your understanding of it evolved over the years?
I think for me, as a woman, it is just learning to appreciate, first and foremost, who you are. You know, love yourself so much to walk away from what does not feel okay. That is something that prior to that pending heartbreak, I hadn't learned how to do. I thought, you know, if I felt sad, if I cried, then everything would come back. And it actually did not come back. It went, like totally went. So I think as a woman, I learned that experiences actually made you don't, people don't make those experiences for you. Once you're in love, then 99% chance is that you have contributed to that healthy space you're in. Otherwise, you cannot exist.
Take us into your creativity, your creative processes, coming up with music that's not the usual music that you find here and there, but unique in itself.
Yeah, my creative process starts from my spirit. There's no other place. It must start from there. When I do not feel it, I do not do it. So it starts from a very intimate space, a very true space, and a very realistic space. And I find myself in such situations normally when I am experiencing certain situations in life, when I meet certain people, when situations around me trigger. It's not really about only me. Sometimes I reach out to people, talk to people. Sometimes I just, even the beauty around me, really. So for me, it comes with true appreciation, depth, and very authentic emotions that I experience. And in such a space, I am moved to compose, to write, or to sing a melody, or just play with words in my head, you know. And most of the times I'll pick a recorder and record a melody, then get to the process of building that up. That has been, of course, my earlier experience. But I've also had the privilege to travel, meet people, experience other cultures that have also contributed to that space of my inspiration currently. So much as I want to be in my intimate space and speak to myself, I'm also considerate of my other areas of inspiration and what it would do to people, because at the end of the day, I want to compose music for just not me, but for someone out there. I really believe that there is always one person out there who is very touched by what I sing. And luckily, most of the times when I sing or when my music is out, that one person actually walks up to me and tells me that.
You told me one of your to-do things this year is work on an album.
Yes.
What are you packaging and cooking?
I'm going to venture into a new genre. Not new per se, but new to what people know me for. And this is because I just completed studies, and I would like to use that mind as well in my creativity right now. So I'm going to try and go away a little bit from the soulful, Suzan and everything, and try to also apply what I think I went to study and achieved. And additionally, I would like to also, of course, continuously be a voice for the voiceless. These are a part of me, the communities that I feel I represent are the indigenous minorities. They have become a part of me. They have contributed so much to my growth, to my general outlook of what the world is. They've managed to take me away from the noise and given me the ability to be still in a space of just trueness, because that is what indigenous communities are. When you meet them, you realize there is a totally different world that we live in and the world that they live in, and yet they seem happier than we are. So I want to be in that place, in a place where they are not bothered about their phones, not having electricity, are being late for work, and all these things. They are in a very virgin space that I don't know how they do it, and they're very happy. So I want to tap into that and write songs about that, collaborate with them as well, and use their knowledge on issues that are perplexing us, we, the so-called elites, because they get it so easily. Why don't we?
You talk about going back to school at the African Institute of Music. How did that change your musicality and outlook on music?
I think it changed me a great deal. It changed my mind also a great deal. As a scholar, you realize that there is more to just doing shows and having a full house and making a hit, There is more to being a superstar. I think with being a scholar in the arts, you understand that there is purpose for every artist, and we are all here for a certain purpose. We are here to either change the sound or add value to it, or we are here to educate, or we are here just to make great music that just does not soothe the soul but also triggers people's minds to go and think about, what did I actually want to do? Why did I play that lick? Why did I choose this chord progression? Why am I in this scale? Why am I using this arrangement of harmonies, Before I was doing it out of sheer talent. But they always say talent is not enough. Talent and skill makes greater sense. So that is what I intend to do, to combine the two and build something bigger. And I believe it's the right thing to do, because growth is a must, and I'm very sure there are so many artists who are at a point where they do not feel growth. It is just a natural space for artists that you get to a time where you feel you're not moving, your mind is blocked. So what inspires you to get? Others will look for things, people go for green leaves, people do things, people travel. I chose going back to school.
You speak about collaboration and synergetic, works. Who would you like to work with on your forthcoming album, and why the choice of such musicians?
I have met amazing people, amazing talents in my previous years, especially when I travel. And I say amazing because they are not the usual household names you would hear. But when I interfaced with them, I understood that the depth of their mind was something that I would want to tap into. I did a very beautiful project with The Witness in 2022 and 23 respectively. It was a research platform where I got to meet conservation artists. I got to meet artists who are making a huge difference with the world, telling stories of things that are unseen, researchers into microorganisms, people who are creating music for bacteria, trying to find out how they live, why they live, what inspires them, people who are creating music for plants and what it means for an orchestra to play for a plant in a room, what it would, that depth, It took me away from the normal, where I'm just on the radio blasting music away. It took me to think about global issues. Right now, we are faced with climate change. We are faced with human trafficking. We are faced with issues of, human displacement. What if we made music about such issues? What are people going through? I mean, people who are right now lonely, people who are currently separated from their families because of natural disasters, what are they going through? What is our contribution as humanity to creating a change? I believe that is what we are here for as artists. And I think largely around the world there is a disconnection with most artists right now, that we've gone very far away from the important issues. We are singing for bread and, wine for the day. But there are more important issues, I believe, that need to be sung about. So that is a space that I'm going to wholly involve myself in this fourth album. I would like to sing about, of course, my communities, sing about the nature, sing about water, sing about green economy. These are, I think, long-lasting messages that will live and educate people for years to come.
Who planted the musical seed in you?
My mom, I think.
Miss
Rosa Kello. I mean, most of the folk songs that have, inspired me, the stories, the percussions and stuff, I had them from her when we were growing up. She did not play an instrument, by the way, but she was a singer. She's such a great storyteller, and she has such a huge sense of humor that when she tells you a story, she will mimic each and every character. She knows bird sounds. She will, play drums. She will imitate how elephants walk and all that. And for us as kids, we used to laugh so much about these things. But when I grew up, these are some of the sounds that I have employed in my music, and putting pitches to them. Now I create rhythms that people are dancing to. So yes, I attribute my music seed to my mom, definitely, most definitely.
You grew up as an African here, there, back here. What did that story of movement instill in you?
I've told people before at my stages, I was born in exile. My dad was a politician. And I was, of course, very young. And I think when my family moved back to Uganda from Nairobi, I was really a baby. But I think it did shape me, because I used to hear my elder sister and brother, actually my two sisters and my brother, talk a lot about their life in Nairobi. When we came back to Uganda, they could hardly speak Kalu. They were speaking Kiswahili and English, and they were singing all these songs. And my mother had this whole collection of LPs from Kenyan artists. I remember those. And then I think there was that wave of Congolese musicians like Mangelepa, I think. There was, I listened to Sukus, I think Super Mazembe and all those people. She had all these collections. Then she also had great collections of artists like the Bee Gees, like ABBA, like Donna Summer. So I do not know what inspired her to collect this music in exile, but I can imagine now when you hear stories of people moving from place to place, they need something to hold on to. They need therapy, and I think for her, music was therapy. But it played a huge role in our lives because we grew up listening to this music. I didn't grow up listening to bad music at all. So my ears were sharpened from a very, very young age. I was listening to beautiful songs being played in the house, and she would dance. We would dance in the house. We would organize concerts, I remember, for my dad, me and my sisters. Of course, once we came back from Nairobi, Kenya, we didn't move again. I started my movements when I was, already doing my art. So yes, for me, like I said earlier, it's been interacting with different cultures, getting to appreciate our cross-cultural relations, and just experiencing sheer connectedness across borders, but also totally different cultures across borders, and appreciating that and seeing how just, the color, the beautiful color of humanity. To me, that is it. And that is still what I pick to date, wherever I go, whenever I meet people. It is something that I'm very keen about, and I tend to probe a lot into people's backgrounds, where they are from. It has also taught me to easily tell people's races, not in a bad way, but I can easily tell this person is from this part of the world, the skin color, the tone, the accent. It's something I do very easily.
How did meeting the love of your life, who is also a music producer, affect and infect the beauty of your music?
The word love of your life. Okay, love of my life. I think he is the love of my life, of course,
Mr. Jude Mugera.
Because I met. We have a very funny story. I mean, we met on a tour bus. You can't believe. We met on a tour bus.
Where were you heading?
I was headed to West Nile. We were contacted that at the time I was singing with my two sisters. We were contacted by Blood Brothers at the time to join a tour circuit. That was, of course, the Blood Brothers, Benon and Vampors, and then Soul of Africa. So we were touring Nebi, Arua, Koboko. The first tour in my life. You don't know how excited we were. And it was during Christmas, the Christmas of, I think, 2005, I think. Yeah, anyhow, yes. So we were asked to meet up in Muyenga, where the rest of the band members and stuff, there was a huge bus there. We were so excited, the three of us, so we were there in time. And we sat in the bus waiting for one latecomer. We sat in the bus for close to an hour, waiting for this one person who they kept referring to as Microsoft. And me and my sisters, because we talk a lot, we kept saying, who the heck is this Microsoft who has kept an entire bus waiting? And then Jude walks in. And he walks in, he's wearing a Rastafarian vest, blouse, something. He used to work with the blood brothers then. And me and my sisters look at him and we are so angry and we insult him in a lure. We're like, look at this guy. Who does he think he is? He escaped the whole world. Yes, look at Microsoft. Who the hell does he think he is? He actually had a T-shirt with, you know, branded Microsoft, because I think the blood brothers were very intrigued about his high-tech knowledge and all that.
Blood brothers including Russ Bissari?
Yes, and Grace and Data, I mean, rest in peace, Alex, and then there was Pam and her husband Bill. It was a very beautiful team, I told her, and those AK-47 that time, AK boys, so we call them AK boys, so crazy guys. Yes, so that is how we met. But throughout that trip, we were really angry with him. So I sat in the corner, I was reading a French novel in the corner, and he sat the other side, and he kept looking at me. So at some point he came and bullied and said, what are you reading? And I'm like, of course, all this, my fresh old lady, and I'm like, I'm reading French. You can't, you know, I mean, so yeah, we went on the trip, and I remember we rehearsed. But there was one funny thing that happened that night, on one of the nights. So there was a barbecue, and they were roasting, I think, goat meat or something. And me and my sisters were this very, you know, mommy's girls, you know, we are used to eating clean food at home. We don't eat street food. We don't eat anything on the road because mommy was always warning us and all that. So Jude walks up to me with a piece of raw, with flesh, like
dripping.
And he puts it on a stick and he roasts it and he says, you need to eat this. And I'm like, why would I eat this? I don't. He said, no, you must eat this because these are stories you're going to be telling your children very soon in future, that I met a certain Ugandan man in Koboko who roasted for me a piece of... So that I've been. But you know, that is a joke that he bullies me with to date. He told me, you thought when I gave you that piece of meat, I didn't know what I was doing. I knew exactly.
You knew the children he was talking about.
And yeah, I knew. Anyway, so back to your question. I think meeting Jude in my life was a divine crossing, by the way, because I didn't know he was a producer. I had no idea that he would take me into the direction of the art that I do right now. And I did not know that he had a nurturing spirit, because he does nurture a lot of artists. And he decided to pick me as one of his artists to create a new sound for, a sound that I'd never had in my life. I remember I went to him that time in studio and I told him I want
Little Pen.
Little Pen. It was in Munyonyo, a very dingy, small corner of the house with eggshells on the wall and stuff. And he told me there is magic in this room, and I told him, come on. I remember the first test he gave me, because I went in there, I told him, I just want to record my music. I have my songs. So he told me, sing for me your songs. I sang them. And he told me, okay, before we start work, I would like you to listen to some of this music. When you come back tomorrow, you tell me what you think. So I remember he gave me some recordings of Richard Bonner. He gave me a recording of a lady from Cape Verde. She was called Lura. And then other recordings of Yusundu. And trust me, when I went back home, I listened to the music the next day. I did not want to do my songs. And I told him, what makes these people sound like this? And he told me, this is indigenous languages that have just been brought to a space where they've been fused and music sounds good. This could be Alur. You could sing in Alur, your mother tongue, and we can create this sound. This is largely called world music, but yeah, it's simply fusion art. So if you're interested, let's try it out. yeah, and that is how songs like Ngom came to, that was the first album, Nimefika, which was magic to my ears. I'd never heard such music. I did not know I could sing Alur that way. It also drove me to learn my language very well because I used not to speak it very well. So I had to go back and write songs and work with my mom, clean my Alur. And it became an intentional thing for me to learn my language. And then I took interest in other languages. I think for me, it was a turning point in my life that I met him. We didn't even date straight away, by the way. We dated after almost 6 years. So the time when we met, we were just working, you know. But he spent a lot of time carving my sound, and he also introduced me to a number of very talented artists who were around him at the time. People like Ouma, Michael, people like Chinobe, people like Ambrose, Baka, the percussionist. All these people came to support me, and I was very broke at the time. I didn't have money. I just lost my job at the National Theatre. So I really didn't have money to pay musicians of such caliber, you know, to create my music, but they came and did that for me for most of my work to date. I mean, I still work with some of them. So I think certain things happened for a reason. So when you use the word soulmate or love of my life, I think it can be defined in so many spaces, because I think people who have soulmates or love of their life or love of their lives, I believe soulmates contribute to people's growth and success. I have an auntie of mine who used to say, "Wabichamulavi," which means, shall we eat love on the table? Is it tangible on the table? I think she was just trying to tell us it's more than just love. Somebody you love needs to be someone who has been carved in your destiny path, who can build you and contribute to your life journey for as long as you live.
You say he was one of the pivotal people. At the time you did a very special song. Is he the one who heals you from the heartbreak?
Incidentally, yes. And you know, funny enough, he was in my life watching all those heartbreaks as a very good friend, you know, and I would always go back to and I would always go back to him. I'll tell him, "Oh my God, this has happened." I was like, "So why did you go there?" I'm like, you know, and we were like that for close to 5 years, you know, just watching each other's lives. He also had a life going on. But yeah, it did not occur to us at the time that we would end up together. And even when we did, it was not like, let's sit and have a conversation about how we feel. No, it just happened. Like, it just happened. It is just, yeah, well, maybe that's how it happens. Because I've watched it in movies, maybe that's how it happens.
Sure.
I really think so.
Can you sing for him a love song? Any love song? A dedication?
I think the dedication I would like to give him on this day is a song by Atlantic Star.
Yeah, man.
I love so much. It's you deserve the best. You deserve the best. Darling, you deserve the best. I didn't not a lie. La da la da da la. You deserve the best.
And you are the best.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Hi there. If you enjoyed my story, please consider following and subscribing to Mr. Edgar Batte's YouTube channel. I think it's amazing for you to continue experiencing and listening to more such stories.